Okay. So guys, so today we are going to cover the compliance management. Yes, and yesterday I just gave a little bit brief on compliance management, but was not everyone was there in that session. So could any one of you just give me a brief on what compliance management is all about? Anyone?
So, okay. So
Yeah, you
basically,
can go ahead.
compliance management is to uh, the license management. Uh, any software, any licensed softwares which are being uh, sorry, I think I messed it up. It's not. Is it correct?
Actually, Amar, I've lost your audio for some time. Anil, Manju, and Sai, were you able to hear Amar completely?
No, initially we were unable to hear, but same.
Okay. So, Amar, could you please repeat it? What you were telling about compliance management? Hello. For some reason, I'm not able to hear Amar. Hello, Amar. Amar, can you hear us? Amar, I can hear the birds chirping from your side, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, is my voice clear now?
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Amar.
Management is on more on whether uh, if any particular software or a report which says whether it is compliant or not compliant. Okay. For an example, I'll just give an example on if I push any script and the activity of the script is for so whether this was successfully turned off or not, it gives a compliance report. So if it is successfully turned off, it would be non-compliant. So that's my understanding.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. Actually, I've missed a lot of part of what you spoke. Maybe it is the problem is from my end. I don't know because yesterday also we faced the same issue, right? Maybe it could be an issue from my end. Yeah, nevertheless, let me summarize on this compliance management part. I got bits and pieces what you were trying to say, and I think initially you gave the definition for software metering instead of compliance management, and later you corrected it. That's what I understand. Okay. So yesterday we had already covered software metering end to end. We've tested it and we've seen it working. So today as part of compliance management, see, so what is compliance? Compliance is like it could be any standard baseline defined by your company, right? And you abiding to that standard baseline, right? Is called you are being compliant. See, you forget about IT world. Even say suppose there's a policy in your company that you need to follow, that you have to work in your office for 8 hours. Right? That's a policy. And if you're abiding to that policy, that means you're compliant. If you're not, right, you're non-compliant. Right? So any particular standard which is set and it is expected you to follow and abide to it is called compliance, right? So here let's take why is it required. First of all, why is it required to be compliant, right? So first thing is like standard policy or a benchmark or setting, right, is configured by the company, right, and it is expected to be followed, right? So if you're compliant, that will help the company to organize things in a proper way, right? So not only in the non-IT world, even in the IT world, if all your systems have the same set of applications, all of them have the same set of latest virus definitions, updates, and they have a similar setting of say similar settings available across all the machines, then uh, the way you can protect the machines, even for example the ransomware error which happened recently, and if your machines were all having the latest update, right? So if they were having latest update or if they are on Windows 10 operating system, that the chances of getting into this ransomware is very minimal. So that's a benchmark. So that's a standard setting you could have created as a compliance saying that all the machines should be on Windows 10. All the machines should have this particular KB installed, right? So if that is a standard setting which was set as a compliance, that would have helped from the organization to save its machines from being attacked by this ransomware or any other such kind of issues, right? So that's the importance of the compliance, right? Now uh, what do you do? How do you, what do you measure as part of compliance? And for that, what we actually measure as part of compliance is you can um, check for that baseline, right? And what you will do is you can either report that um, report if any machine is out of the baseline, right? Or you can remediate when a machine is out of baseline, right? So what we are doing here is, you know, your machine should be compliant, and what exactly you do there, you'll first check for the baseline, okay, and then so I can say check or you define the baseline maybe. First you define a baseline, then you check for that baseline on all the machines, then you'll report if any machine is out of if any machine is out of the baseline, right? Or you can even remediate. So reporting is just telling you that okay, out of your 1,000 machines, some 100 machines do not have this patch. So that is just telling you, giving a report that there is no particular patch and it is out of baseline. Right? That's just giving a report. But the second part is remediating it. Okay, since these 100 machines do not have report, do not have particular patch, why don't I go ahead and install that patch on these machines? So that means you're actually fixing that problem and making sure that these 100 machines are getting compliant, right? So if I had to, just put these in a sequence, define a baseline, check for that baseline, and then either report or remediate it. Guys, are you clear with this?
Yes.
Yes, Manoj.
Okay. Now, So this is the process that I just explained you, and the baseline could be, it could be an application baseline, so it could be related to an application baseline. So what is an application baseline? Like you're saying, in my environment, all all the machines should have SAP GUI 9.x, right, or higher, or maybe I'll say in all the machines I need to have Silverlight 5. I don't know what is the latest version, 6.x or higher, right? So this is an application baseline I'm giving. So they all should have only this version or higher. It should not be lesser than this. The same goes for Adobe Reader. Many people might be having the older version of Adobe Reader, so you can say all of them should have 11.x or higher. So this is an application baseline which you can configure, and make sure that all your machines are either you can get a report out of it saying that okay, you still have some older Adobe Readers, machines with older Adobe Readers installed. So that's the reporting part, or you can even remediate, right? So that's one. And then you can have something like software update baseline, right? So as we have already discussed, like the KB, all machines should have KB some number. Okay, so all machines should have this particular KB. So this is a baseline. You're giving a specific KB and you're telling this particular KB should be there on all the machines. This particular patch needs to be installed on all the machines. That could be a baseline, right? Or else you can say all the patches released till Jan 2017, right, should be available on all the machines, right? That could be a baseline, right, guys? Or maybe you can say that hotfix is released. You can say okay, not all machines, specific machines should have a hotfix, and that hotfix you will tell the hotfix number, some number. So a specific machine should have this particular hotfix installed. Otherwise, those machines are out of baseline, right? Like this, you can define a software update baseline. Similarly, you can have an operating system baseline for operating system. So operating system, like maybe all machines should have remote desktop enabled, right? Or it could be any standard setting, okay, or a registry value should be equal to X, right? Should be equal to 1 or 0, something like that, right? So either you can create an application baseline, right, or a software update baseline or OS baseline, and once you have that baseline, I'm telling you there are two ways, right? One is reporting part, other one is remediation part. So when I'm talking about reporting part, that is pretty straightforward. We all know that it will directly go, SCM will go and check for that exact value. So you need to first define how to check it. For example, if I'm saying all machines should have SAP GUI 9.x or higher, there should be a place where it can go and check that. Either it could be the product code, or it could be the C program files going into the SAP folder, or it could be a registry value where it can go to HKLM software and then check for SAP version, right? So there should be some way to identify that version, so that you will mention as a baseline, right? And at the same time, reporting is pretty straightforward, because it will go check that particular location where you ask it to check, and if it is there, it says there. If it is not there, okay, it will give you an error or warning, or you can have it as a information or a warning or a critical error, right? So you can define it. So reporting part is pretty straightforward, but how is it going to remediate it, right? So when you're asking it to remediate it, you should properly mention it. What are the remediation steps? For example, for an application baseline, a remediation means uninstalling the older version and installing the latest version, right? So when you're talking about application baseline, you'll associate that with um, a script. When you're talking about remediating it, you will give a script or a batch file, or you can give latest application MSI or application and tell that, okay, if you find older application, okay, that is when you have to run this new application package, which will automatically uninstall the old one and install the new one. So when you're asking it to remediate, you should also give tell it how to remediate it, right? For example, in case of OS baseline, let's take this registry value or remote desktop enabled, right? So how do you check whether remote desktop is enabled or not, right? Maybe there is a registry value when it is 1 or 0. If it is 1, registry remote desktop is disabled, and if it is 0, if it is 0, it is enabled, right? Now, as part of remediation step, so first it will report that remote desktop is disabled. Then as part of remediation, you will say that, okay, it has to toggle back from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1. That's when, that is the remediation step, right guys? So sometimes it is very pretty simple, like just making a small 1 to 0, or there is a port not given, port is not allowed, you wanted to allow that port on that machine, just changing a registry value or a file value, right? Or else maybe by copying a file, right? Sometimes it is just pretty simple. Sometimes it is like a batch file needs to be run, a script or VBS needs to be run to fix all those issues. A patch is not found, so immediately you wanted to trigger a batch file which will install that particular patch. So that way you have to clearly call out what is the baseline, or what is the remediation step for that baseline, right? Guys, are you clear till now?
Yeah, Manoj.
Cool. Now, how do you do it in SCCM? So in SCCM you have first something called configuration item. So configuration item is nothing but, as I told you, for instance, for SAP GUI 9.x, right? So how do you identify it is called configuration item. So to identify it, maybe you'll check under um, registry value HKLM, then you go to software, maybe under software there is SAP, right? SAP GUI, and under that you have version, right? And this is what you'll check whether it is 9.x or not, 9.x, or if it is greater than or equal to 9.x, right? This is a configuration item. Maybe you'll have couple of things like that, so you'll check here, and maybe you'll also check under C program files, right? And under that you'll check for that particular there might be one exe, right? I don't know, there could be a SAP GUI.exe. Under this, check for SAP GUI.exe and version of that file, right? That should be greater than or equal to 9.x maybe. So these are different individual CAs. I have created one CA for this configuration item, and this is one more configuration item, right? So when you bundle these configuration items together, that becomes a baseline. So a configuration baseline is nothing but bundle of CAs. If you have 5 or 10 conditions, when all those conditions are met, that's when that baseline is completed, right? So that is a baseline. So configuration baseline is a bundle of CIs. Then what you do, once you have configuration baseline, you deploy the CB to a collection, right? So in the configuration baseline, you'll define what is considered as compliant. So in the configuration baseline, you're telling that, okay, this needs to be equal to all these CAs need to be all these CAs needs to be met. That all of them should be compliant. Individually, all of them should be compliant, right? So then only I'm considering it as the configuration baseline as compliant. And what is that I wanted? So when you're deploying it, you're telling it what is that I want. Do I want it to just report, or do you want it to remediate as well? So that you define here, right? So why are we deploying it to a collection? Because sometimes the configuration baseline is not for all the systems. It's not default like any configuration baseline I make it is for all systems. No. Maybe the kind of configuration baseline that you're preparing, it is only for a specific set of machines, right? Say suppose SAP GUI is used by certain people. So you know that some 200 employees only they use it. Only on 200 computers you are expecting SAP GUI to be there. Then there is no need to run this configuration baseline on all the machines, right? Only the users whom you know that they'll be using SAP GUI, you want to make sure that at least they are on the latest version. Others, they may not even have SAP GUI and it may not be even required for them, right? Then there's no need to push this to all the machines. So a configuration baseline will be targeted to a specific collection. Only on those machines, sometimes you'll check for the whether the compliance has been met or not. Accordingly, you'll take an action, right? So sometimes it is like for all the machines, like I'm telling you, like it should be all the machines should have this particular patch. All the machines should have a remote desktop, or maybe on all the machines a particular service should be automatic and started, right? So those are something which you wanted to run on multiple machines, right? So in that case, what you'll do, you'll create a configuration baseline and you'll push it to a collection. Guys, are you clear till here?
Yes, one.
Yes.
Okay. So let me give you one more use case. Like since we have already gone through operating system deployments and other sessions, you would understand this. Like take a migration which is happening. So suppose you are doing Windows 7 to Windows 10 migration in your environment, right? Migration is a big activity, right? So you're doing for some, you know, some 10,000 machines you have, right? And you're moving all of them to Windows 7 to Windows 10. Now what will happen here is, what are the steps typically involved in while doing migration? So first of all, even before migrating a Windows 7 machine, you want to check a few things on the Windows 7 machine before migrating Windows 7 machine, right? So that is a kind of pre-migration checklist. You want to check certain things on the Windows 7 machine, like um, uh, I'll detail about it a couple of minutes later. And you also, once the migration is done, on Windows 10, again you want to check, do a post-migration checklist. Alright, so guys, I want to hear from you. What is it that comes to you as a pre-migration checklist on Windows 7 machines, older machines, and as a post-migration checklist on the after migrated? What do you think you need to check? Can you just tell me 3 points each?
So
User data.
pre-migration checklist will check the RAM, hard disk.
Okay, you want to check the RAM. You want to check the hard disk. Okay, hard disk. You mean to say hard disk space, right?
Yes.
Hard disk size,
Then
and then the applications.
you want to check what applications are installed. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Anyone else?
well, yes.
User data backup.
You want to check user, whether user
User backup.
data has been
Yeah,
backed up or not.
exactly.
Mhm.
And check logged in.
Sorry, Anil, I lost you. What was that?
We have logged in last 30 days. It won't take the backup. So first, the
Okay, so if I understand correctly, you're saying like user logged in.
yeah, it takes only the backup of each user.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Anything else? Sai, are you saying something? I don't hear you, but I see you're unmuted.
User settings.
Okay, you want to check some user settings. And okay, so what about post migration? You don't check RAM on the or hard disk space on the post migration, right?
So the user data is being backed up.
Okay, so user data has been restored or not. Okay.
Applications, the required applications.
Mm-hmm.
This is joined to the domain.
Mm-hmm. Maybe after moving to Windows 10, maybe you'll check if patches, all the latest patches are installed or not,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that wonderful interaction and wonderful uh, checklist items, right? Yeah. So as part of pre-migration checklist, there are certain things we check, and there are certain things which are very, very granular things which we check, like whether the machine is on Wi-Fi or Ethernet, or whether the machine is on power backup, or is it on battery or is it on power if it is on laptop, right? Because when you're doing migration, if it is on just on battery, so there are chances that it might shut down while the migration is happening. So certain minute things like on which on which power source it is running, or other minute things can also be checked, right? But sometimes what you do, some of these pre-migration checklists, for all of them you can have a task sequence created, right? And that task sequence can run as a precursor even before your OSD task sequence runs. One more task sequence can be run, or maybe in your OSD task sequence itself, you can have a small group which will validate all of these, and only then it will start the actual task sequence. That you can have as part of task sequence as well, right? The pre-migration checklist, you can have it as part of task sequence as well. Okay, but certain things, uh, it's not the point here is not just to check whether they are there or not, and then if they are not, the point is not to skip the installation, OSD installation. The point is also to make sure the machines are ready for OS deployment, right? So say suppose you are expecting to do some 100 migrations today, okay, and you just have last minute check you're doing as part of OSD task sequence. So there are chances that the last minute you're running OSD task sequence and it says that, okay, as part of pre-migration checklist, I see that X, Y, Z are not met, 1, 2, 3 are not met, and I'm not running this task sequence. That way, you have planned for some 100 migrations today, and you end up doing some 60, 70. So thereby, you're missing some of those machines, right? So rather than being that way, if you can plan it properly, like uh, even before running the migration, one day before, a kind of configuration baseline is created, and that baseline will run. It will check all the machines. If they are not compliant, it will remediate and make them compliant, right? You will have a remediation script. Obviously, you need to create a remediation script for the SCM to make it compliant, right? So either if those things can be remediated, so yes, definitely SCM will remediate those things as part of remediation script. And again, you can also make sure that it again checks 1 hour just before the task sequence triggers, right? Certain things like few things, as I said, connecting to the power backup. I mean, to say connecting to the power source, or the hard disk space. Certain things which needs to be checked just 1 hour before running the actual task sequence, and immediately you get a report saying that, okay, these machines are non-compliant. Okay, this machine is connected to Wi-Fi. This is on Wi-Fi, or certain things. Immediately you get a notification. You pull the report, and maybe the floor worker, whoever is actually deploying the machine, the floor worker, he can go to that particular device and connect it to power and do certain things, right? So there also, not always you can rely on OSD task sequence, and your configuration baseline will help you sometimes to report to the SCM administrator so that he can take an action. Sometimes to, if it can remediate, it will also remediate it, right? Same thing for post migration checklist. even in the post-migration checklist, once the task sequence is completed, right, already joining the machine to the domain, and so applications will be installed as part of core image, and some of the applications will be installed as part of your task sequence, and user data will be backed up or restored using USMT. Latest patches will be installed as part of task sequence. All that is done, but there should be a checkpoint, right? Somebody needs to do a thorough check before handing the laptop to the end user, right? So sometimes a particular patch failed on that machine, or a task sequence failed at particular at one point because of network failure. Maybe before installing the applications, OS is installed, but just before installing the applications, there was a network failure, or any one application, single application failed and rest all got skipped, and that machine do not have any application, and all you see is, okay, Windows 10 is already there on that machine. Even the task sequence failed, after 1 hour if you go back and see the machine, it says that the task sequence failed, but when you log in you find Windows 10 is there. You assume that, okay, everything went fine on this machine, all applications are installed, and you hand it over to the customer, but that is not the case. Actually there was a network failure which happened while running the application part in the task sequence, and you never know that. After 1 hour you see there is no task sequence window, there is just Windows 10 machine ready for you, right? So in that cases, it is always better to do a checklist, right? But how easy it is to do a post-migration checklist of different set of applications on hundreds or thousands of machines, right? So here also you can create a configuration baseline, right? Saying that, okay, check if user data has been restored. You will check under C program files and under C users. You'll check whether the particular profile is created or not. You'll check. You'll have certain applications, right? It will check all those applications are installed or not, and patches. It will check for the patches. What are the you may define some 20 or 30 patches. Say that, okay, check if these 20-30 patches are installed on each and every Windows 10 machine. So that could be a clear configuration baseline, which will not take much time. Hardly within 5 minutes, all these things will be checked, and you get a report saying that, okay, out of the 100 machines built today, 95 machines are compliant, 5 machines are failed, and they are failed for this reason, particular reason, right? Then you can maybe manually install those applications or manually install those patches and give it to the end user. Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Any questions here? Anyone? Okay. So you all are ready to see it in practice, practical, how it looks like. Let's see it. Let me also start my anyone client machine. Okay. So guys, since it is a demo purpose and it is just in within our lab, maybe I'll take smaller examples to create a configuration item in baseline, but the whole idea is to explain you the process practically, how a configuration item will be created, how a configuration baseline will be created, how you can make sure it reports you, all right, or remediate. So I might take some dummy examples here, but you can still use the same process in your environment whenever you know that this is the configuration, this is the baseline, this is the benchmark that has to be met. So accordingly, you can create your own CAs and CBs. But here, since it is lab, I might take some dummy examples to explain you the process. But I have already given you the real-time use case of it, right? So now compliance settings. So this is where you have it. So do I need to create any site system role for this? Nope. This one doesn't require any site system role, like software distribution require DP, and we have seen for OSD we have Pixie enable DP and state migration point, right? For patch management you have SUP. For each and everything you have a different role. For this compliance settings, you don't have any role. Just like yesterday we discussed software meeting, it doesn't require any role, right? All it requires is a client setting needs to be enabled. Same goes with compliance settings. A client setting needs to be enabled. So where will you find that client setting? So you have all the client settings here, right? In the very initial classes we discussed, like again and again we'll be coming to the client settings, and that's what we have been doing. So every class, at least once, we are coming to these client settings and checking few things, right? So here under compliance settings, you just need to ensure that this compliance evaluation thing is you just need to ensure that this compliance evaluation is enabled, right? And you can, by default, as you know, everything in Sccm runs once in 7 weeks, right? By default, most of the things runs once in 7 days. Same goes with this. So you can schedule it to run it like once in 5 minutes. Now go back to assets and compliance settings. So this is where you create a CA. First, you need to create a configuration item, right? So right click, create configuration item. Say suppose this is something which I'm creating for an application, okay? It's an application. I'm just creating an application baseline to check a particular application is installed or not, okay? Application CI. Give me any application name, maybe VLC. Anyway, I think we have VLC on this machine, on the client machine. Okay, I have VLC here. Say suppose I just want to check VLC configuration. Say suppose it is a standard application for me, and a baseline where I'm setting a baseline for it. So first, specify the type of configuration that you want to create. So is it a Windows based, or is it for mobile device or Mac OS, right? This is for Windows device. So this configuration item contains application settings, right? If I put application settings, as you can see, it is checked with it is giving you detection method. So say suppose if this is for an application baseline, I'll select, okay, this configuration item contains application settings, right? And so either if you have a product code of VLC, you can directly give the product code. So it will check for the product code whether, and based on that, it will define whether an application is installed or not, right? Or detect a specific application and deployment type. So if you have already created one for VLC, if you have one application for VLC, you can select that. So based on that, it will go ahead. Anyways, within that application, you will have detection method, right? So based on that, it will select, it will check based on that application deployment type and the detection method which was already created in the application. So it will check whether the application is installed successfully or not, right? Or you can have a custom script, any Windows PowerShell or VB script, to check certain things. Say suppose, as I told you, it will go and check under HKLM software, and then it will check under C program files. So you can write a one script to check the registry, the file location and all that, and you just trigger that script here, right? So there are different ways how you can check whether an application is installed. So first of all, if you know the manual ways to check that application, accordingly you'll set a you'll set a registry, or you'll set a script or detection method for that, right? Yes. So I don't think I have a MSI or product code for this. Let me see if I have a product code for VLC. a source. I have Adobe Reader here. I have Chrome. Yeah, I do have VLC, but do I have MSI? No, it's not an MSI. I think I have an EXE for that VLC. Nevertheless, so I'll say that always assume application is installed on all the machines, and then maybe in the setting I'll give a registry, some dummy registry. Okay, let's do that. So what is the setting? How do you identify that, right? So new. So registry, I'm checking the VLC registry. Let me go to this machine, client machine, and so under HKLM software, do I have any, why is this getting disconnected again and again? Okay, so under this HKLM software, I don't see anything for VLC. Maybe under WOW6432 node. Yeah, there is one for video LAN, and under video LAN I have VLC, and there I have this version, right? This. So HK local machine, software, WOW6432 node, video LAN, VLC, and then version should be equal to 2.2.5.1, right? So let's do that. And it is a string, right? It is a string. So I'm saying new VLC registry. It's a string value. Okay. Let me browse it to something on this machine because I don't have, the test machine. If I give may test01, I don't think remote registry is enabled. So it says remote registry is not enabled. So what I can do is on this machine under WOW6432 node, I'll just select any other. I'm just selecting any other value here and then replace it with the exact values. So under WOW6432 node, actually I want to check for video LAN, not Microsoft. And under video LAN, I want to check for VLC. Under VLC, it would be version, right? And apply. Now this is the location where I have to check, and what is the um, what is the rule that I wanted to see. So by default, since I've selected that location, right? So it has taken as disabled repair must exist. That's the name given to it. I can change it. It's not disabled repair. It is VLC must exist. So is it just to check till this level, or is it to check the exact version? It is to check the version, right? It is not the registry value must exist on client devices. It is registry value should be equal to. So by default, existential thing has been created. Let's see, must exist. And we'll see version check. The version should be, the registry should be equal to, what's this? 2.2.5.1. 2.2.5.1. So now I have the version here. specify a valid integer. That was not an integer, right? Did we select integer or did I give string? Cancel general. Oh, I gave integer here. I thought I gave string. Let me cancel this, guys. Okay, take this location here. Cancel, delete, new, VLC registry. It is a string. This is the location, and this is the version. Apply. Compliance rules. I have to check this VLC exists, or maybe directly I can put VLC version check. This is not required for. And this is 2.2.5.1. Now it is a string, right? Now I can say report non-compliance if the setting instance is not found. If this 2.2.5.1 is not found, report it as non-compliant, or I can even remediate rule. But here it says remediate non-compliant rule when supported, right? Because I have not given any script or how does it know? How does it will know? Like what are the remediation steps for this, right? So for now, let me put it this way: report non-compliance, and the non-compliance should be when it is not 2.2.5.1. Should it say that it is just a warning, or should it say like it's critical? So that I can set here. So I'll say okay, I want it to tell me as critical if this is not installed, if this registry is not found. Say okay. Okay. So now next. So what I did, I've defined the setting. I've defined the compliance rule wherein I'm checking for 2.2.5.1, right? And if it is not there, I'm just reporting. I'm not remediating it. I'm just reporting and saying the severity is critical. On which operating systems you wanted to run. So you can define only specific operating system. If you know that this you're going to check only on the client machines and not on the servers. So you can remove the servers from this or embedded devices. If you don't have XPs, Vistas, right? That's it. So guys, what is that we just created? We created a configuration item. See, yeah, I told you will create a configuration item, right? So this is what we created now. Now we need to create a bundle of configuration. If you have multiple configuration items, you'll create a baseline, right? Either multiple or single, you'll create a baseline out of it. So registry checking is one configuration item. Similarly, the another configuration item could be checking under C program files, right? Let us also create one more configuration item. So this is VLC CI 02, and yes, this contains application settings. I don't have any detection method to check though. I am saying this time it is not a registry value. VLC file check, right? It's not a registry value. It is a file system, right? I must need to check for a path. So let me see where the path is on this machine. C program files. Okay, it's not on a program. It's in a program files x86. And then you have video LAN, you have VLC, and you have this VLC.exe, right? This is the location. Go ahead, Manju.
I'm not able to see the screen. It is very slowly refreshing to me. Is it happening for every other people also, or only me? I'm not sure.
Guys, is it same with all of you?
Yeah, there is a network latency.
Or is it? So do you want me to go a bit slow? Okay, I'll go a bit slow so that you all are once you have the screen, then only I'll discuss about it. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a based on file system, right? Okay, let me put this here. So here in the path, I'm giving the C program files x86 video LAN VLC. I hope by now you're able to see the screen. Wait a minute, instead of me typing it, I think even on this machine I'll have C program files x86. Okay, remote restore was not enabled, but remote thing is enabled, right? So maybe I can go to C program file is x86. I'm giving enough time, buddy. Let me know even if that is not sufficient. The screen is not refreshed. Please let me know. Under video LAN, selected VLC, and here I'm checking for the VLC.exe. Okay, so are we checking for the selected file must exist on the client device? No, maybe not, because so even for VLC media player 1.1, even on those machines also the VLC .exe will be existing under the same folder. That is not what we wanted to check. We wanted to check the exact value, right? So it's not about it must exist on the client devices. It is a specific value, right? So you can add. I am selecting this one. The selected files must be compliant with the following rules. So click add, and it's not based on date modified. You want to check based on the file version. So I'm saying, guys, I hope you're able to see the screen. I'm saying that the vlc.exe file version should be equal to 2.2.5.1, right? Okay. I don't know why it says it's not a valid version. I have not given that version. It has automatically picked that up. Okay, something weird. I had to retype it and it took it. Anyways, so 2.2.5.1, that's what I'm checking here. And what I'm also saying is report non-compliance if this setting instance is not found, right? So in this one window, I've given the location, the path. I'm checking if it is existing or not, and also I'm checking the file version is equal to 2.2.5.1 or not. If I don't want to check for the existence, I can remove this checkbox, and I only want to check the file version, right? Say okay. Apply, and what are the compliance rules? This is the compliance rule which is created. So by default it is giving it has information. If that version is not there, it is giving information. No, it's not information. I want it to be critical. I'll say I want that as critical. Right guys, so this makes one more compliance uh, configuration item for me. Right, so let me also same what I did, XPs, Vistas, servers, everything I removed, so that only the selected platforms are from Windows 7 to Windows 10, right? Okay, so I've created two configuration items here for VLC media player, one which checks the registry and the second one which checks the file version, right? Now I'll create a baseline out of these two configuration items. And how do I do that? I create a configuration baseline, VLC CB, and then I'll select these two configuration items which I've just created here. VLC is 01. Guys, do you want me to give a minute here to, is the screen loaded for all of you? Okay. So VLC CI01 I'm added here, and also VLC CI02 both. So this baseline will check for these two. Okay. So now I have the baseline, but I haven't deployed it anywhere, right? So let me first check the properties of the baseline. What all I have? I have the evaluation conditions as these two. Only when these two are met, that's when it is considered as the machine is considered as a compliant machine. Currently, it is not deployed anywhere. I haven't deployed anywhere, right? Cancel. Now deploy to. Before I deploy to a collection, let me see under which collection I have this machine, mate S01. I don't know where exactly it is. Call Win7 deploy. Okay, it has different set of machines. I think it is part of USMT capture collection at least. Yeah, so this machine is already there under USMT capture. So ideally you will create your own collection for this, but to save some time, already since we have created multiple collections and this mate S01 is already there under one collection. So let me target to this machine, right? Configuration baseline, right click, deploy. So here I'm saying, do I want it to remediate as well? No, just based on the non-compliance, just generate an alert, right? So what is the difference between that non-compliance warning or critical and this alert? So that is individually if each configuration item is not met, right? If it is not met, then immediately it is giving a critical error and it is considering the machine as non-compliant. Now, say suppose you are running this on 100 machines, right? And out of 100 machines, how many machines are compliant and how many machines are non-compliant? That is what you are trying to get by this alert here. So what you are telling me, what you are telling the system is, if out of those 100 machines, even if more than 10 machines are considered as non-compliant because of configuration item, even if 10 machines are considered as non-compliant, more than 10 machines, then give me an alert, right? So that's the non-compliance percentage what you're trying to calculate here. And the collection would be, in this case, we have just seen that under USMT capture, I have this machine, right? So, or else let me do this. I'll push it to all systems. It's one and the same. So anyways, we wanted to get the compliance report. So under all systems. Okay. And by default, the baseline evaluation, if you have seen, it is for running once in 7 days, right? But since I've changed that client settings there, here also I can see it to run in once in every 5 minutes. So that is fine. Say okay. So what is that we just created? We created a configuration baseline and we have deployed it to collection. The moment you deploy anything to a collection, what will happen? A policy is created, right? And the machine will wait for 60 minutes to download the policy. Let's trigger the policy on the client machine. So you go to the control panel, configuration manager, action item. So before I click on machine policy, I want to show you the configurations here. See, any configuration baseline you create, that you can see here. See, currently if you refresh, there are no baselines, right? Let me go to the actions, trigger machine policy and come back to the configurations. I have to see this new VLC baseline here.
Manohar, I think again there was a latency.
Okay, I'll just wait for a couple of minutes. So guys, are you all able to see my screen with configuration manager client agent?
Now I can see its actions window.
Okay, the actions window, right? So what I was telling, so can you see my configurations window now?
Yes, the properties which you open, we are able to see configuration.
Configurations, right? So this configurations tab, as you can see, even if I refresh, I don't see any configuration baselines here, right? So what I'm trying to say is now if I go to actions and click the machine policy, ideally this machine has to download the VLC configuration baseline, right? So I'll go to action.
You clicked on actions.
No, I haven't. Now I clicked on actions
Okay.
and
Okay.
okay,
Now it appeared.
and under machine policy. So I'm triggering machine policy here. Now I'm going to configurations, right? And let me refresh because the policy agent should run, you know, the policy, what happens in the background, right? There are two log files. Whenever you click on machine policy, there are two log files, policy agent.log file, policy evaluator.log file, right? Only those two are going to tell you that a new configuration baseline or new policy is created for you. So now if I refresh, ideally I have to see here the configuration baseline. Let's see, I'm clicking on refresh. Guys, do you all see this VLC underscore CB configuration baseline here?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So the baseline is created, and as you can see, it says last evaluation is not applicable. So it never ran, right? And the compliance is unknown because it never ran, right? So either what you can do, either wait for 5 minutes, that's the time schedule that we have set. So next 5 minutes it will run, or else you can evaluate it from the client agent, right guys? So just to speed up the process, let me evaluate it from the client agent. So before doing that, let me also open the log files and see in which log files you can see this information. I'm clicking on C, Windows, Sccm folder, logs folder. As you can see, so initially the policy agent and policy evaluator has run. Now there is some CI store, right? You see, so earlier you don't have this configuration item store, so now you have this configuration item store. It has, it knows that a new baseline has been created, right? So let me now run this, evaluate, and see what are the new log files which it is going to create. So guys, I'm on the configurations tab on client agent, and I'm clicking the evaluate button, right? And I also have C Windows CCM logs folder open with me on the right hand side. So evaluate. See, the CA agent has run, DCM reporting is run, right? So if you open this CA agent log file, you can see the job is running, right? It has completed the job, and a job has been deleted as well. And if you see the last evaluation time on the client agent, it says 6/7 at 7:17 p.m. That's the 7:17 a.m. So that's the time now, and it says the machine is compliant. We know that the machine is going to be compliant anyways because VLC registry is there, the VLC folder is there, file is there, everything is there. So obviously it will say compliant. And even in the log files, it will tell you if if the particular machine is a particular CA or CB has been run, right? And if there is a report created for it. So what I can do is I can click here itself, view report, right? So when I say view report, it will open a Internet Explorer page for me, and it will show me why exactly it is compliant or why exactly it is non-compliant and what and all settings it has checked. Okay, I have not clicked on Internet Explorer yet, so I'm clicking it now. Guys, can you all see my screen with Internet Explorer page open?
Yes.
Yeah. It's loading, right? Yeah.
Okay, so there it says that the computer name is so and so, evaluation time is so and so, this is the baseline which it has run, and the compliance state is compliant, right? And this is the configuration baseline, and these are the two configuration items that it has checked. And you see the entire status is compliant, And if you click on CH01, again it will show you what exactly it has checked for. Individual CH01 and CH02 is compliant. Okay, wait a minute.
Manohar, can you go back before you open IE? Because I think it was a little bit went fast, so we didn't come to know. I didn't come to know how it
Oh,
opened.
I clicked on view report, buddy. So can you see on my screen on the left hand side, I have the client agent properties open, configuration manager properties. I clicked on this particular configuration baseline and clicked on view report.
Okay.
Okay, that's when this report has been opened. And as you can see, it shows that the baseline policy is required and it is compliant. Now, let us do one thing. Let us do something tricky. On this machine, let me manually remove or change that particular registry. Okay, here the version it says it should be 2.2.5.1. So I'm in the registry right now, guys. If you can see the screen, so I'm in the registry and I'm changing the version manually, right? Just to create a scenario for you, right? So I'm changing it to 2.1, right? And I'm saying okay. So now this thing is changed. So in the next 5-minute cycle, when the evaluation will happen, it will tell you that the machine is, ideally it has to tell you that the machine is non-compliant, and it has to tell you that why it is non-compliant. Is it because of the registry or is it because of the file version? So which particular configuration item has failed? It has to give you a detailed information, right? And also it has to give you as a critical error. It's not in normal information. It should be a critical error for you, right? So that's how you have set it. So I've changed this version 2.1 in the registry. Now I go back to, I'm closing this report as well, guys, because just by refreshing the report, nothing will happen. It has to re-evaluate. Only then you'll get that report, right? Latest results in the report. So I'm closing the report. So I'm re-evaluating it instead of waiting for 5 minutes. Guys, can you see on the configuration manager properties? I've selected the baseline and I'm clicking on evaluate. Okay. So now it says at 7:22 a.m. it has last run, that is just now, and the compliance status as non-compliant. Right, guys? You all can see that it says it is non-compliant, right? So now if I view report, I click on view report here itself. So this time the IE opens. The IE opens, it shows the entire CB itself as non-compliant, right? The CB itself is non-compliant and it isn't critical. And why the entire CB, that means the entire baseline is non-compliant, because at least one configuration item was non-compliant, right? So which is the configuration item, which is CH01 is non-compliant. However, CH02 is still compliant because CH02 is your program file's x86 file. So that is still compliant. However, CH01 is non-compliant.
Okay, so when you change the value, then it will become a non-compliant, right?
Yes, because see, I've changed the value just for showing you the giving you a scenario. In reality, I wanted to tell you that, say suppose in any machine that VLC media player older version is installed, right? That is when it is going to show you as non-compliant. Since I don't have a 2.1 VLC media player, I've manually changed it in the registry. Right, Manju?
Yeah. If it is in the real scenario, uh, what will be the example? It will refer for the non-compliant and the compliant. Just
Nobody, the same stuff.
same.
Manju, the same stuff. See, in real-time scenario, on one particular machine you have 2.1 and the other machine you have 2.2. Okay. So on the machine where it is 2.2, it will show as compliant. On the machine where VLC Media Player 2.1 is installed, obviously the registry will be 2.1 and there it will show as non-compliant. Since I don't have two machines, one with 2.2 and the other with 2.1, the same machine, I've changed the registry, manipulated the registry into 2.1. But in the real-time scenario, that's what, anyways it will be there. Anyways, when you have 2.1, it will show that machine is non-compliant. Right, buddy? Right? So when I click on that particular VLC CI01, I just clicked on VLC CI01 to see why exactly it is critical, why exactly it is non-compliant. So when I click there, it is telling me I've done a VLC version check, right? I've checked for this particular HKLM software, WOW6432 node video LAN VLC. I've checked for the property called version, and I've checked if it is equal to 2.2.5.1. No, but it is 2.1. That's the reason I'm considering it as critical. So it is giving you detailed information why it is non-compliant. Guys, are you clear with this compliance stuff, reporting, and not the remediation part yet, but reporting part? Are you comfortable with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is how you're going to know it. Say this I've showed on the client machine side, right? The same thing even from the server you should be able to see, because on
Hello?
MM, yeah, Manju.
You are able to hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
How it decides the non-compliant and compliant way. But I'm still, I don't know where I'm missing the logic. I'm,
Manju,
we have done by, hello?
I'm again losing you, Manju.
Okay. You are able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I understood how it decides non-compliance and compliance way. But still I'm missing, I don't know where I'm missing the logic. But now, as of now, now we have done it by ourselves, editing the entries.
Mm-hmm.
It went to non-compliant way. But in real scenario, how that will get decided? That logic I'm missing. So
Nobody. See, okay. You tell me you have 5 machines. Okay. Out of 5 machines, the VLC media player 2.2 is installed on 4 and 2.1 is installed on 1. So what is that you're expecting it should behave like? On out
the
of 5,
latest one,
so, what I'm asking is on 5 machines, you have VLC media player 2.2, 4 machines you have 2.2, and 1 machine you have 2.1, right? So that those 4 machines should show as compliant, and the 1 machine should show as
uh,
non-compliant because it does not have the latest version of VLC media player. That is what you wanted to check.
yeah, okay, got it.
See, the whole point of this entire exercise is you wanted to check whether on all the machines I have the latest version of VLC media player or not. That is the compliance check that we have. That is the standard
Yeah,
benchmark we have.
yeah, I got that.
Uh, you mean to say that you got the you got answer to your
Yeah,
question?
yeah. Where I was getting confused, I got it.
Okay, okay, cool, buddy. So, so now we have this information purpose, right? So, how do you remediate it? Say, suppose you wanted to remediate when you find that the value is 2.1, that means 2.1 is installed on that machine, and even the file version is 2.1. Sorry. So, how do you remediate it? So, what you can do is on the same baseline, evaluation conditions. Let me check. All these are required. It was already selected, right? Okay, let me go back to the configuration item in that case, because since it was already selected. Compliance rule here, I wanted to remediate the non-compliance rule when supported. Say okay, and okay. In this case, since it is a registry, I'm not getting the next step, which is, so when supported, wait a minute. So let me create one more configuration item to make it much more easier for you. Okay, so let me create one more configuration. This time I'm creating it for Adobe Reader, right? Or maybe Google Chrome, which I think for which I have the product code as well. Google Chrome. I say next. Did I not select the configuration application settings? Yes. Okay, I'm selecting Google Chrome. I'm selecting configuration item contains application settings. Guys, if you're able to see my screen, so there are two things I've given. I gave the name and I've checked box. And here I'm giving the Windows installer detection. That is, check if this particular Adobe Reader, where is the source I have? I have it under E drive. Okay, I'm giving the MSI. So I'm asking it to check for this product code, if it is installed or not. Then I can even give the same kind of registry value here. Now what will happen once if I give the registry value and if I select remediate when supported, right? Now, since it has a product code associated with it, and I'm telling that remediate when supported, so what it will do, since these registries are saying that as per the registry and as per the file version, that application is non-compliant, and I'm asking it to remediate when supported, that means I have a product code associated with it. Now it knows that whatever may be the version on that client machine, I have to install this MSI product code, this latest version of MSI I need to install on that machine to remediate it, right? So that way we can give, or else what we can also give is, if I go back and instead of selecting Windows installer, I can also use a specific application. Even here, since I will already have a Google Chrome application, MSI, even this is doing the same thing. So what I'm doing, I'm giving a Google Chrome application itself to detect, right? And I'm asking it to check for the registry and the file version. And then I'm saying if the registry and file version are not there, instead of just reporting non-compliance, I will also select remediate. With that, what will happen? I'm saying remediate when supported. So it is supported. Now you have a specific application and deployment type also given in the configuration item. So it will take that application and the deployment type wherein you already have an MSI to install. So automatically it will, if Google Chrome is not installed on that particular machine, it has to install Google Chrome. Right, guys? So let's see how this thing will work. So currently I don't know the Chrome registry. Let me see what would be the registry for Chrome. Google. Is this for Chrome now, right? It is for Google Update. Guys, do you know what is the registry to check Google Chrome? Or maybe I can check instead of registry, maybe I can check the file version itself, right? That would be easier. So I'm on the client machine, C program files, x86, Google, Chrome, application, and then you have this Chrome thing, right? Okay, so this is where I have the Chrome thing. So let me go back to the Sccm server. So instead of registry value, I'm saying check for file system. Okay, and I'm naming this as Chrome file check. Guys, can you all see my screen? So I've in the configuration item setting, I've selected the setting type as file system. I'm browsing to Mate-S01, C, program files x86, Google, Chrome, under application, I'm checking for chrome.exe. Right guys, I'm just halting here for 1 minute so that this screen is loaded for all of you. So under mate-01 chrome.exe, that is what I've selected, and I'm not checking for its existence. I'm checking for its file version. So add, instead of date modified, I'm changing it to file version. Okay. So it has to check this part, and I'm saying report non-compliance if this setting instance is not found. Say OK. Apply. Right. So I'm doing a compliance file check. And what is a compliance rule? The rule is it has to check for this version, right, guys? And if it is not there, this particular version is not there, I'm saying it to report non-compliance, and it is not an information. It should be a critical warning. Okay. So next, I'm checking only on the client machines and not on the servers. Just a minute, guys. I'm just trying to find out for this file version. I just have the option to report non-compliance. I don't have an option to remediate. So that's what I was checking. So I'm creating a configuration baseline for this. Chrome underscore CB. Add the configuration item created for this. Okay. Ideally, you should have one option to even give a script. Just give me a minute, guys. I think I'm missing a small piece here. Just give me a minute. Guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, Manohar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the piece that we're missing here is, see, when I right click and if I say deploy, so I'll have an option to remediate non-compliant rules when supported, right? So either I can give it on the configuration item or how we have seen it for the registry, right? But in this case, since I've selected file check, right? So it is not giving me an option to automatically remediate on the configuration item. And what will happen is, even if I select here to remediate non-compliant rules when supported, so what SCCM documentation says, that's what I just checked now. So what the SCCM documentation says, or the TechNet article, the TechNet link for this particular configuration management, right? So it says that remediation, auto remediation is not possible for the file check, though it is possible for the registries, it is possible for the script, or it is possible for the WQL query and all others, but not for the file check. So that's the reason we are not getting it at the file check level. So what you can also do is, for example, so let me not deploy it. So create one more configuration item and show it to you. For example, I have Chrome CI 02. Okay, the configuration item contains application settings, detect based on Chrome. Now what I'm saying here is, in the settings, say suppose instead of registry, instead of file check, if I can give registry value, it is going to auto remediate it. Or if I give a script here, right? So what will happen is, I have a discovery script. Can you all see my screen, guys? Is it loaded? Guys, is it loaded now?
We're able to see, we're able to see grade settings. Wizard.
Okay. So I have two things here. One is a discovery script, the other one is a remediation script. So what I'm doing is, as part of discovery script, I can create a VB script which will say that, okay, go ahead and check the same things like the file check or the registry. Instead of no, giving them here, I can write a VB script for that. And when that VB script goes and checks that particular location, and if it doesn't find it, if it considered as non-compliant, I can run a remediation script. So what it says, specify the script to remediate non-compliant setting values found on client devices. So configuration manager passes this non-compliant value to the script as a parameter. So whenever it is non-compliant, right? So this script will get triggered, right? And in this script, you can write like, okay, install Google Chrome, right guys? So the first script is checking for that value, and the second script is actually installing the application. Guys, does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Any questions here, guys, on the discoveries part and the remediation part? Let's see if I can quickly. Okay, it might take a little bit of time for me to, write a VB script, um, which will check the, which will check that particular application, the registry or the file version. It might take a little bit of time for me. Or wait a minute, let's see if I have. You guys just give me 2 minutes. I think I have a VBS edit with me. That should pretty quickly create a script for us. Have you ever used VBS edit? Any one of you?
Not much.
Okay, so this VBS edit is nothing but in this VBS edit you can give some default scenarios are already there, samples, wherein it can immediately check and create a script for you, right? So what we want here is, I want to check under registry. I want to read a string, right? So this one, it goes and it is reading this under key, it is reading console. Okay, so this part is not required for me. I'm just removing this. Guys, I'm just trying to create a VB script, okay? Don't worry, this is nothing related to Sccm. So HKLM software. So what is the location, guys? For this registry, for example, for VLC itself. For Google Chrome, we have a registry. Do we have a registry for Google Chrome as well? On the client machine, Regedit, Google, updates. Apart from that, I don't have anything here. Let's assume that this is this that registry and this is the version that I need to check 1.3.33.5, right? So let me create a script for this. So I'm asking it to go and check under software wow 6432 node, and under that I'm checking for Google. Under that I have update. Okay, and the value name is version, right? And get this string value. Okay, now if I run this, let me save it. Save it as read Chrome registry. What else? Let me make Chrome registry.vbs on my desktop. Okay, so I've saved it here. Just give me a minute, guys. I'm copying it to this particular location. .3. So I've copied the Chrome registry.vbs, and let me see how does it work if I'm triggering the wscript.exe. And what is the VBS name? Chrome. Come on. Where's the VBS on my machine? I want this to give me Okay, here I missed. Okay, now I have the save it, copy it into the okay. So this has been updated. So let me rerun it and see if it is getting the version. No, not really. And HK local machine, I'm checking this str key path, which is software Microsoft Word 6432 node Google update, and under update I have version. Is that the correct location, guys? So I thought this script should be real quick,
Is there
but
a space between wow 6432?
you mean to say if I've given a space here, 6432 node? No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good check, but nope. HK local machine, that's what I'm checking, and software, is this a string? Yes, it is a string. Software wow 6432 node, Google update.
I think there is no Microsoft in that. You have given software Microsoft
Where is it?
wow 64.
Oh, you're right.
Software.
You're right, buddy. You're right. You're right. See, I was saying 10 times, but I never realized this. Okay, Control S, save it, and now run it again. Perfect. Now we have the version. So this script is checking for the version, right? So you can use this script in our Sccm console. So here this web script can be used. So let me pick it up from here. One 168 12.2 12.3 or 12.3 C dollar. That's the machine I have, and this is the registry. Okay, so this is the registry wherein I'm checking software wow 6432 node for this. Okay, so I'm saying check if VB this particular thing is there. So it checks for the data type. Okay, now remediation script. So again we have to create a remediation script here. So let me do it real quick. So again I'm going to the VBS edit. I can create a new VBS. This time I'm going to sample, and I wanted to install an application, right? So application, client applications, install software on the local computer. It's not a remote computer because this is going to run anyways on the local computer. So install software on a local computer. So how does it run? So under C script, if you have this MSI, you can give that MSI and run it. So here we are checking Google Chrome, and I have it under I'll put that Chrome folder here. See Chrome. And what is the MSI name? Let me copy it, guys. In the backend, I'm doing a copy here. Just hold your horses tight. We are about to check this real quick now. We're almost there. On your machine, under source, Chrome, I have this MSI, right? So I'm going to copy this Chrome folder to my client machine. 192.168.12.3 $, and I'm copying it here. Alright, so now in the script, what is it I'm mentioning in the script? Where's my script? Install software. So it will be under C Chrome, and the MSI, what's the MSI name, guys? This is going to be the MSI name. Control C. I don't know if that will be copied outside. If it copies, great. Nope. Sccm. Okay, let me write it down rather than wasting time here. Google Chrome standalone. Guys, are you following me what I'm trying to do here? Right, so this is the script which is going to install Google Chrome standalone enterprise 64.msi. So let me save this as Chrome installer, and let me copy it onto the $C. Okay, where's my SCCM server? Okay, so here I'm going to select that Chrome installer.msi. Did I make any changes here? Is everything fine? I hope so. So guys, so what I just did is I've created a configuration item for Chrome, and instead of checking for the file version or the registry from the directory from the registry, so what I did, I'm checking it from the VB script. Now this VB script goes to HKLM. It is trying to find what is the version, and based on that version, if it is non-compliant, it is going to run the remediation script. Right, guys? So this is remediation Chrome check. I don't know how far we'll be successful in this, because we just created a VB script on the go. So just in case if it is not successful, don't blame me. Let's try it. Let's try it out. And the compliance rule here is So from this, what was the one created? Yeah, Google Chrome, right? Chrome, this is the one. So here the value returned by the specified script should be equal to, what's the registry value, buddy? The registry value is 1.3.33.5. 1.3.33.5. Okay. So if this value is not there, then I'm saying run the specified remediation script when the setting is non-compliant, and also report to me, right? And report it as critical. And this is my Chrome check. Created, done. Run it only on Windows client machine operating systems. Just everything is cleared off. Next, close. So now let's create a baseline out of this. So a configuration item, this is created, right? Which is Chrome CA02 is the configuration item. And under baselines, so what I'll give, already I have a Chrome baseline, right? So open that baseline. Evaluation conditions. I'm removing the first one, which was not relevant here, which will be not relevant. So the one which I just created with script, I'm adding that as the configuration item. So I have configuration item created, I have a configuration baseline created, I have a remediation script, everything there. Now let me deploy this one, the new baseline, to a collection, and the collection would be all systems collection, and remediate non-compliant rules when supported, right? So whenever it finds that it is a non-compliant machine, so remediate it. Say okay. So deployment has been created. Let's go to the client machine. Configuration manager. So if you go to the configurations here, guys, can you see the configuration screen? So I just have the VLC baseline here. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to the actions, running machine policy. I just clicked on machine policy. Okay. Go back to the configurations, refresh it. Wait for 1 or 2 minutes for this to get populated here. I'm just closing everything else. Okay, now you have Chrome here. Guys, under the configurations, can you see Chrome baseline, Amar and Manju?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so here now what I'm doing, instead of waiting for 5 minutes, let's evaluate. So it has run the script, right? So as per the script, it found that the particular version is there. So it says it is compliant, right guys? So it says compliant. So if you view report, so on this machine, it has checked for Chrome CA02, right? Which is nothing but a script, Chrome check script. It checked if this particular value is there. It says the value is already there. It did not require it to remediate it. It's already there. So the machine is compliant. Now what I'll do, let me see. I'm just giving it a try. I don't know how far we have written the script correctly. If you have written correctly, it should work properly. So let me uninstall Google Chrome from this, right? So ideally, what is the expectation? Since we are uninstalling Google Chrome, okay, when the discovery file will run, the discovery VB script will run, it will check under registry. It will not find that Google update or whatever the version there. So then it should mark it as non-compliant, and since it is non-compliant, it has to run the remediation script and install the Google Chrome back again. So this makes a complete end-to-end proper testing of compliance management, right? But we are relying on a script which is just created now. So I'm not 100% sure whether the script would run, but let's try it out. So before that, manually let's check if it has completely removed it or not. So see, since this is for update, this particular registry is still there, we can delete it. Let me see if there is anything else here related to Google update. Okay, Google Chrome is deleted. I'm also deleting this node. Ideally, when application is deleted, even the node will get, the registry will get deleted, right? So now nothing is there for Google Chrome. Now what we'll do, I'm re-evaluating it, right? So there is no Google Chrome on this machine. Re-evaluating it. Let's see what will happen. It last ran at 804. Let me refresh and see. It is still running. It is trying to make it compliant, right? I say Google Chrome is again installed back. Is my understanding correct?
Manohar, sorry, I'll have to drop from the call.
Sure, sure. I'm just continuing the recording. So you can feel free to drop.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, buddy. So this machine, okay, now it says it is non-compliant. This one is non-compliant. And did it run to trigger Google Chrome? Add remove programs. It must have triggered that script, but as I said, if the script itself is not working, it might not install. Let me try to trigger the script manually and see if it is working or not. Manju, even if you have some other things, you feel free to drop off. Anyways, I'm recording this session, okay?
How much any case?
Sorry, I missed your voice.
Any guess how much more time it will take?
I'm hoping it will take 5 to 10 minutes more. Okay. I see something is running in the background. I don't know what it is. Is the folder and everything correct? C, Chrome, standalone enterprise. Okay, I should have given a silent parameter for this. And what is the value I get in the, so it throws no error. And is it still running? W script. Yeah, it is still running W script. Okay, what I understand here is, let me end the tree. So I should have given a silent installation parameter here. What's this silent installation parameter for MSIs? Wait a minute. In the Sccm, we must have created this application and we should have the parameter there. We'll pick it up from there. Google Chrome, let's do it real fast. Deployment types. Program. Okay, so this is the thing there, /q, right? What I'll do is in the console, the configuration item we just created, I'm changing the command. I'm adding a silent parameter there. Let me also manually check if it is working or not on that client machine. If I put a /q here, okay, it is throwing an error. Manju, feel free to drop off because this is related to VB script. So it might take some time because I'm trying to figure out the parameters for the VB script, right? It has nothing to do with our SCM stuff, but still I'm trying to go that extra mile to uh, make you all feel that end-to-end is installed. But still, it is taking a little bit more time. If you want to drop off, please
Okay.
go ahead. Or it's up to you.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Anyways, I'm recording this and you'll have it.
Yeah. But yesterday you also you're going to upload, is it?
Yes, yes. I'm going to upload even the yesterday's one. So just give me a minute. Okay, this time, let me see if this installs Google Chrome. I put a silent command and W script, is it still running? W script. No, W script is not running. Yeah, Google Chrome is installed, right? Right, guys. So, Manju, if you can stay with me for a couple of minutes, please stay because it's almost done. Okay. So this application is installed successfully. So what I'm doing is I'm uninstalling Google Chrome here on this machine. Manju,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what are we doing? So where are we now? Can you just give me a quickly brief so that I'll explain. I'm just making sure that you also understood the entire process.
That we are trying to reload the same thing which we uninstalled. So via VB script, there was some error which we are trying to identify.
Yes, yes. So that error I've identified. So that's done. So now I'll tell you. See what I'm doing here is on this particular machine. Okay, Google Chrome is not installed. Right. So now I'm running a configuration baseline. I have a configuration item wherein I have a script which will check whether Google Chrome is installed or not. It will check on all the machines, right? Wherever it says that Google Chrome is not installed, there it will run the remediation script. It is not only reporting me as non-compliant, it is also running a remediation script and it will automatically install the Google Chrome application there. right? So this is the exercise we wanted to check. So on this particular machine, I don't have Google Chrome installed, right buddy? I have just uninstalled it. I don't have Google Chrome installed on this particular machine. And if you see there's no Google Chrome, right? There's no Google Chrome installed on this machine. Now what I'll do, from the Sccm, let me make this change on the Chrome check. There was one parameter small change I have to make, right? So this /q, which is for quiet installation, I should have it inside the double quotes. That's the only change, right? And when I say OK, apply, right? So now I have a configuration item, configuration baseline deployed. Go back to client machine. Okay. So first of all, run the action machine policy because I made a change there, right? So that has to get replicated here. So run the machine policy. So refresh it. And let me also check on the Sccm server. Where is my baseline? This is my baseline. I wanted to, since I made a change to it, I want to see if I can change the revision for it. Yeah, latest revision. It's already there. Great. So where's my client machine? Mutation 01. Refresh. Okay. Now I'm evaluating this. It was last evaluated at 807. So let me evaluate it. The script is running. So there are two scripts, right? The first script is running, which is trying to discover if Chrome is installed. So it says Chrome is not installed. Right? And it is supposed to trigger the W script. Let me see, is the W script still running? C script, it's not running. So add remove programs. View report. Manju, I think this is going to take some more time before I need to do some more troubleshooting on the fixing the VB script. So better you drop off, buddy. I don't want to waste your time. Okay. Take care. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. So guys, I was checking the DCM WMA provider log file. I see that this time the script, remediation script has been added successful. Let me check one thing. So here on the registry end, see the Google registry has been created again because I've run Google installation manually on this machine, right? So let me delete this part. Okay, make sure it's not recreated. Okay, refreshed, it's not created. Let me check it out once again. So I'm going to actions, run now, under configurations. Let me evaluate the Chrome CB once again. Did it create the registry again? Refresh. The registry is not created back. And under add demo programs, I don't see Google Chrome getting installed there either. So let me do once again. I just made a small change there. Let me check it out. If this will fix the issue. Configuration manager, actions, machine policy, run. Configuration, the revision should update to 3. I just made a change on the configuration item. Wait a minute. So I've changed the configuration item. And what's the version of? Okay, CB is still 2. However, I've changed the configuration item, which is now 3. So it is using the latest one. So in that case, I'm fine. Okay. So anyways, CI is 3, revision 3, and CB is 2. So then, yep, I can go ahead and trigger this, evaluate. Let's see what will happen. So before that, let me also once again check the registry is not created back. Okay, registry is not there. Okay, and anyways, application is also not there. Let me evaluate and see what will happen now. Okay, so now it says compliant. on what basis it made it compliant. Okay, let me check the report. It says Chrome has checked the value. Is it? I don't see the registry here. Let me just rerun it. Let me check what is the value I've given on the server. I'm stopping the recording for a couple of minutes.